All right, I'm getting ready to go to Africa, as many of you know, and I received quite a few messages about making a video of what camera gear I'm bringing to Africa. So I'm heading to Africa, co-leading a workshop with Sue Cederholm there. We're going to be there for almost 3 weeks. So it's going to be a nice trip to Kenya and Tanzania. And I'm going to be doing a lot of instructing and a lot of photography as well. So I'm going to show you what I'm bringing. It's a long venture, and so I'm trying to travel light, but this is my version of traveling light, which isn't very light. But let's start with this backpack. This will be my carry-on. I also have a travel carry-on as well that has my traveling stuff for about 24 hours worth of travel. But this will be my carry-on that has camera gear in it. Now I have 2 bags of camera gear. These 2. So I'm going to start with the backpack though. This one will get checked in a Pelican case. I'll show you that in a minute. This backpack will ride on my back, and then I have my kind of man bag that's my travel companion that has my stuff for traveling in it. So the way I'm approaching this, let me just say out of the bat, there are certainly people that are better at this than me, that do it more often than me, that have better ideas than me. But I'm just going to show you what I'm doing to give you some ideas to incorporate, or whatever. Just take all this with a grain of salt. This is my way of doing it. I'm under no delusions that this is the best way of doing it, but this works for me. So in this backpack, I have the barest of essentials. So this is going to be with me the whole time. The other bag will get checked. If that bag gets lost or stolen or something, this is all I will have to shoot with. So I'm keeping it very light, but very versatile, so that if by some terrible stroke of luck, my other bag gets lost, I can still go to Africa and have a great time photographing and still be able to do most of what I want to do with a camera. I won't have backups and that kind of thing. That's kind of a dual purpose with having these 2 things. But I can have a great trip. If everything else goes wrong and this is all I have to use for Africa, I will have to make some, difficult-ish choices on how to shoot. But this is what I'm bringing. So this is kind of a cool backpack. This is an old-ish Teryx Backpack that opens all the way open like that, so I can access my gear here. It's got a little bit of padding and structure to it, which is nice, but no internal dividers. It's not made for photography. It's made for, I think, like a rope bag for rock climbing. But it works great for me. So we start with the big one here, the Sony 400 2.8. Very lightweight, which is one of the reasons I love it so much. The new Nikon, which I have on order, is 0.1 pound heavier and has a built-in teleconverter. Unfortunately, it should arrive right around the time I return from Africa or shortly thereafter. So I'm very disappointed that I don't get to bring the new Nikon 400 2.8. But this is wonderful, absolutely no compromises in terms of performance, image quality, and lightweight. It's a wonderful setup there. So that just rides in here bare. And then in a little lens wrap here, this is a little Dom key lens wrap. This is the Sony A1 in there with its battery pack on there, the battery grip, so I can shoot all day and not have to worry about changing batteries. And this just rides loose in there in a little wrap. Similarly, this is in a wrap. This is the Tamron 28 to 200 millimeter lens, which is very small and very light and surprisingly great image quality. I've had really good success with this lens. So very small. This is it. 28 to 200, 400 2.8, and then some teleconverters. And that's that's what I have to work with. So if something happened, I would have a gap there from 200 to 400 millimeters, which I can totally manage that in terms of focal length. No big deal. And then I've got both the teleconverters, the 1.4 and the 2x. So I can take that 400 millimeter lens out to 560 f4 or an 800 millimeter f5.6. So very versatile there. And this is a sack full of all of my batteries, because you can't check lithium batteries in your checked luggage. You have to pack it with you. So this is pretty hefty. So this is batteries for all my stuff. This is batteries for the Sony system, battery for my Nikon cameras, for the Atomos, the video recorder and monitor, and GoPro. I guess that's it. But so quite a few batteries. And that's all that's in here. And there's still quite a bit of room left over inside this backpack. So I could stuff in there, you know, like my jacket or whatever that I don't need for my actual travel experience as well. All right, I'm going to wrap this stuff up. I'll fix that later. Oh, as I'm putting this stuff away, I'll show you one of the great reasons this Sony 400 2.8. You know, granted this has the lens hood on it. But here's the Nikon 600 f4 for comparison. It's quite a bit heavier, a couple of pounds heavier. I brought this last time and it was marvelous, performed just wonderfully. And I made a bunch of great images with it. But I've kind of fallen in love with the 400 2.8 over the last year-ish. So this one stays at home. This comes with me. All right, now on to the bag that I will check. Now this bag, it's a soft bag with dividers and everything in it, but it fits perfectly inside this Pelican case. So this will get checked all the way through from Jackson Hole to Nairobi. But this whole thing just lays right in here, boom. And it fits perfect. I close it up, lock it up, and keeps everything pretty darn safe in there. So I'll show you what's inside here. I have a bunch of knickknacks as well as the actual gear itself. I'll just show you some of the knickknacks. This is like normal stuff you'd bring. This is a stuff sack, a sleeping bag stuff sack. There's another couple others in there as well. We use these like when we're riding around in the safari vehicles, it gets pretty dusty. So I'll just take like my camera, if I'm shooting and we're gonna start driving down the road, I'll just stuff my camera in there and set it on the seat next to me. And that helps keep the dust and everything off of the camera. So they don't take up much room. They're very lightweight. There's no real consequence to bringing them, but they are pretty useful. A couple of stuff sacks. This is bean bag, not filled with beans. We'll fill that when we get to Africa. That we use as a lens support, can go over the window or up on the roof. Can put it upside down, whatever. Very versatile for a lens support. I'm not bringing a tripod. We're shooting out of the vehicles almost all the time. And I like to shoot handhold anyways. Monopod. Now, why am I bringing a monopod? I'm going to get to that in a minute. But I am bringing a monopod. Okay, on to the camera gear. Let's start with the Nikon Z9. Pretty sweet. The battery is out of it. It is in the backpack because you can't check batteries. And last time I went, the German authorities actually pulled a battery out of a camera, and so I lost that battery. So I'm not going to take that chance again this year. Luckily, it wasn't this really expensive battery. It was a cheaper one. But they saw it on their x-ray, and boom, they pulled it right out. And I had a little note waiting for me when I got home that I was short one battery because they took it out. So there it is, the Nikon Z9. And the new Nikon Z 100 to 400 millimeter lens with the Mamiya hood that generated a lot of discussion in my last video. a little flexible rubber hood. This is a very high quality, very strong, thick rubber compared to a lot of the cheap, junky ones you find on eBay or Amazon, which is the reason I use this Mamiya M77. It's very high quality. It's like 10 years old, and it's just awesome. Bomber. There is a quick release tripod foot on there, but I'm not bringing a tripod. But anyway, it's a good carrying handle. So that's going to get a ton of use. Super versatile focal length for wildlife. Next lens is the Nikon Z24-120 f4. Super versatile. There's the theme. Keep it versatile. Carry as little gear as possible and carry gear that's as versatile as possible. Here's my wide angle lens, a 14-30 f4 on the Nikon Z. It's small and light, and it works great for those few times when I shoot ultra wide. I don't use it a ton, but when I need it, it's a wonderful lens, and it's great. It's small and lightweight, easy to cruise around with. The Sony A1 on the 400-2.8, the Z9 on the 100-400 is kind of the main setup, along with the Z7 II on the 24-120. So I have 3 bodies, and I'll have 3 lenses attached. That way I'm not changing lenses out in the field and getting dust in there, because it is very dusty out there. So 3 cameras, 3 lenses, and then of course I've got this if I need to swap out on that one. I'm also bringing a 1.4 teleconverter for this, which turns it into a 560mm f8, and it works surprisingly well. I never had really good luck with old Nikon f-mount teleconverters, but I used this a lot in Yellowstone during my workshop there, and it worked wonderfully at f8. Focusing was great. It was sharp as a tack, wide open at f8. Thumbs up on that one. I'm bringing, this is something I probably won't use, but I want to have it along just in case. Extension tube, which will allow me to get close focus if I want to do something macro. What else? Oh, a lens baby, which is, if you don't know what that is, it's kind of a weird tilt shift. Well, it's not a tilt shift. It's kind of it's a lens that tilts and has like a weird plane of focus and does some interesting artsy-fartsy effects that I enjoy doing. So I'm bringing this lens baby along as well. Small and lightweight, easy to carry around. I'm bringing my binoculars as well. These are Canon 12x36 with built-in image stabilization, which is great. When you're shaky, it stabilizes that for you. So it's nice to have a pair of binoculars out there in the field. I've got like, little knick-knacky stuff. This is like cleaning cloths and sensor swabs, that kind of stuff. I have a GoPro with a little Manfrotto tripod, rocket blower. What else? Anything else interesting in there? Monopod head. Oh yeah, I haven't got to the monopod yet, but I will. Okay, let's talk about the monopod. So, as I mentioned, I really don't need support. I've got the beanbag and we're shooting from the vehicle most of the time. I'm bringing a monopod to try some like low angle work. And because we're shooting from the vehicle, like here in the Tetons, I love to lay down on the grass or in the snow or whatever and get low. To get a different angle on my subjects than kind of up here or up higher in the safari vehicle to get low. But when we're a lot of the national parks, they don't let you out of the vehicles, and then if you're working with lions or cheetahs or something, you don't want to be out of the vehicle, leopards anyways, because it's not particularly safe. So one thing I'm going to try this year is using a monopod as a way to get lower out of the vehicle. So this would have a lens on it, obviously, but a quick release. So my plan will be, and this isn't a plan I came up with, somebody else, I don't remember who, I saw this somewhere else, but now I can extend this out and then hang it either out the window or out the roof of the vehicle and get this down low to the ground and get some lower angle shots of some wildlife. you know, maybe some elephants wide angle or something as they're approaching the vehicle when it's not safe to be outside the vehicle. I can stick this out the window, get it down and shoot up with some wide angle. I can, you know, especially, well, I can't do it here. I can flip the screen out there. So even when it's out of the vehicle here, the Z9 actually works better. It can come up further. I can still see what I can compose my images. And when I'm doing this, I will be using a remote release. I happen to use this Myops, which can also function as a lightning trigger. Anyway, it goes on here, it attaches in, and a little app on my phone, I can press the shutter button, I can focus, I can make adjustments to things from there. So I can be dangling this out the window. It sounds complicated, and maybe it'll be too complicated, but my plan is to dangle it out the window, be able to see what I'm framing, and then be able to just press the shutter button. Click, 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 click. You know, as I'm moving it around and looking at the screen as it's tilted there. So that's going to be an experiment, but I have high hopes for getting something cool out of that. And if I don't, so be it. I'll get some other cool stuff anyways. But anyway, this is a Myops Smart Plus. I think that's what it's called. And it works as a remote trigger and a lightning trigger and does some other stuff. Intervalometer if I want it. I've got filters in here. I will use a polarizing filter, almost certainly, and a neutral density filter, because I like to shoot blurry stuff in the middle of the day, motion blur. So I want to be able to slow that shutter speed down, even in bright sunlight, to like, you know, 1/4 of a second. So pretty slow. So I need a filter, and it will fit on this 100 to 400 and the 24 to 120 and the 14 to 30. So I can slow down and get some motion blur there. What else? This is a bag that has my Atomos in it, which is a external monitor and video recorder. Just sits on the top of the camera into the hot shoe, and I can record video to it, raw video or whatever, and it's a nice big screen that I can watch. I don't really use it for that, but a nice little system there that I'm going to be bringing along for video work, because, you know, I'm a YouTuber. That sounds so funny. But anyway, for YouTube and stuff, I like to make some videos for you guys while I'm in Africa. What else? Extra memory cards, a little multi-tool, like a little Gerber Leatherman type thing there. And that's it. So that's a lot of stuff, but I'm trying my best to keep it reasonably simple, but still have everything I need for 3 full weeks in Africa, doing photography every day. So anyway, that's going to be it. I hope this was helpful for some of you. I mean, a bunch of you asked for this, so here it is. This is what I'm bringing. And I wish that Nikon 400 2.8 was here, and I even emailed Nikon in hope that maybe Nikon Professional Services had one that they would be able to lend me for the trip, because they do that kind of thing sometimes. Well, no, they do that kind of thing for pros, but not with pre-release lenses very often. And I wasn't able to get my hands on one. All right, take care, and I'll see you when I get back from Africa. I doubt I'll be able to make another video before then, but if I do, I'll see you on that one. If not, take care. See you in a few weeks. Thanks for watching. Bye.